Now on CoastTV News.
Seeking warm shelter with no relief from cold conditions, we look at the strain it's putting on resources for the homeless.
Hot meals, cold weather, the group making sure the elderly don't go hungry as winter blankets Delmarva.
Checking properties during the cold, what empty vacation homes just easily fall prey to.
And we have a cold weather advisory in effect through Thursday morning for potentially dangerous cold, wind chills below zero, and a yellow alert for potentially accumulating snow later Saturday into Sunday. Details coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Cots to sleep on. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with resources for those to get out of this bone-chilling cold.
The temperatures outside brutal and can be especially dangerous for the homeless. CoastTV News reporter Elisa Weber shows us how Code Purple is stepping up to help and how the community can support shelters.
Snow and ice covering the coast. That is the reality after the weekend storm. Temperatures this week are in the 20s with lows in the single digits. Being outside for just a few minutes is painful. Imagine having to sleep out here and having no relief from the cold. Code Purple at the Cape provides emergency nighttime relief for those experiencing homelessness until March 15th. And organizers say there is more demand than ever for their services.
There's a waiting list to get into our shelter right now. We have a limit of 14 guests each night, and we've hit capacity on date December 1st. So from the very beginning.
With that limit, shelters can only open with volunteers on site.
We can always use more volunteers, there's no doubt about it, particularly in the overnight. So it's we have a lot of people that are cooking and doing intake. And volunteering in many different ways.
In addition to a wait list, Code Purple at the Cape is also looking to find more locations.
We would actually like to open a second men's shelter. We think the demand is there for a second men's shelter. And we're continuing to look for another faith community within the Lewis and Rehoboth Beach area that might be interested.
In addition to volunteering, Code Purple at the Cape says other ways the community can help is by donating winter clothes or a financial donation. For CoastTV News, I'm Elisa Weber.
From those in need of housing to those in need of food, Meals on Wheels Lewis Rehoboth delivers to over 260 people. Most people receiving food are elderly and homebound. CoastTV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Lewis. Brandon, both volunteers and people receiving food say it's not just about the meals.
Charlie, I rode along with one volunteer today that had over 15 deliveries, some even being in this neighborhood. And the words and phrases we heard from people receiving this food were thankful, grateful, and life-saving. But it's more than just giving food to somebody. It's about the conversation and the human interaction that people that sign up for Meals on Wheels need as well.
Most of these people are by themselves, really anxious to talk to somebody. To me, that's probably as important as the food.
The Meals on Wheels Lewis Rehoboth chapter tells me they expect to do what they did last weekend before last weekend's winter storm. Double up on food Friday for people receiving it, so they're fed over the weekend. Live in Lewis, Brandon Ferguson, CoastTV News.
More than 180 volunteers are ready to go for Meals on Wheels Lewis Rehoboth. And again, this chapter serving the Lewis to Harbison area. The nonprofit says every volunteer is vetted before hitting the road, and they deliver 20,000 meals per year. Cold temperatures have local rental agents checking on empty vacation homes in Ocean City, making sure their clients' property is protected from any pesky winter damage. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappé live in OC. And Kevin, those conditions can cause serious problems if homes are left empty.
Maddie, we walked through a property today with a realtor who showed us key areas that you should be checking to make sure you don't have to pay any costly winter damages. And here are just a few. It's including checking the temperature inside to make sure it is at least 55 degrees so nothing freezes, as well as checking the utilities and faucets. We spoke with another realtor who's also checking their client's property and plans to oversee them again when the temperatures begin to rise to make sure no damages is taking place, something they have both seen before.
A fourth floor pipe went inside a townhouse, and that water ran all the way down and through.
I opened the door and there was 2 inches of water on the floor throughout the entire unit.
With another possible storm coming this weekend, Smith and Riley say they're going to check both of these properties, or all of their properties again, to make sure they're okay. I'm Kevin Zappe, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Taking a live look into Cambridge right now. Look at how pretty this picture is, although I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is cold out there as we check in with our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trihey.
Good evening, Charlie. Bitterly cold out there today. Temperatures about 20 degrees below average. Should be in the mid-40s. We were in the mid-20s, and because of the cold, a cold weather advisory continues. This was extended. This continues until Thursday morning for Sussex County, parts of the eastern shore, and that extends down into Maryland as well. And that one goes through 10 a.m. for Dorchester, Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester counties, because we're looking at wind chill values in the teens and then eventually into the single digits. Actual temperatures right now are bitterly cold. 24 Georgetown and Millsboro, 25 in Lewis, 25 in Bethany Beach. And we've got the wind. It doesn't take a lot of wind to knock down those feels like temperatures. And it feels like teens and lower 20s right now. Feels like 17 with the wind in Georgetown and 18 in Gumboro. So really bundle up this evening. We are seeing some cloud cover. You see some blips of white on the map. That could be a snow flurry or two as we're seeing a little disturbance sliding through. Otherwise, behind this system, we're looking at clearing skies and, you guessed it, more bitterly cold temperatures pouring in from the north and west. Futurecast this evening has a cloud cover, the cold temperatures, and maybe a stray flurry or two through about 10 p.m. Then we clear out and you see how the temperatures plummet into the low teens tomorrow morning. And those feels like temperatures as we go through the overnight into the morning hours into the single digits above and below zero. Aside from the dangerous cold, we're tracking a possible winter storm for the weekend. More on that coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how cold is too cold for you?
I'm curious to see the results on this one. 56% say below 30, 12% say below 20, 27% say below 10, 5% say never too cold.
We do have a comment from Jennifer who says, I've lived in states where the winter temps were frequently below 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't live in those states anymore for a reason.
Neither do we, Charlie.
Now, Jennifer, I have never felt so connected to a viewer comment as I did right there.
In case you're not familiar, we both used to live in Alaska, and we don't anymore. So that's all we need to say about that. But hey, if you haven't voted yet, please do let us know what you think about all this cold on the Coast TV website or our mobile app.
And be sure to download the Coast TV app for your phone, for your tablet. You can also get it for your TV. It streams on the app for things like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Here's kind of a crazy story up in Bexar, that's in Newcastle County, Delaware. Police say they're searching for 2 men who robbed a snow removal crew Monday night in the Rockwood apartment complex. 4 workers were privately contracted to complete snow removal. Police say around 2:40, one man approached the plow, hit one of the plow workers with a gun, and stole their property. Police say somebody fired a gun at the plow as they drove away. Good news, though, nobody was hit or hurt.
That is wild. Tonight, 2 Border Patrol agents are on leave after that Minneapolis shooting, which left a VA nurse dead over the weekend.
It comes amidst growing calls from both sides of the aisle for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign or be fired.
Tensions in Minnesota remain high. The latest incident there, an attack on a member of Congress last night.
And as NBC's Melanie Zanona shows us in Washington, the Minneapolis unrest could lead to a government shutdown this weekend.
The Department of Homeland Security confirms the 2 Border Patrol agents who fired their guns in the shooting that killed ICU nurse Alex Preddy have now been placed on administrative leave. The move comes as outrage over Saturday's shooting in Minneapolis grows and calls for accountability intensify. And a day after the White House tried to calm tensions in Minnesota by removing the man leading the operation, Greg Bovino, and promising a full investigation. But the state's governor is skeptical.
The president said he himself will oversee investigations. That is so wrong on so many levels, and it's the last thing that we want.
Adding to the unease in Minnesota, this attack Tuesday night on Representative Ilhan Omar at a town hall meeting.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
55-year-old Anthony Kashmirzak was arrested after charging Omar and spraying a liquid at her. President Trump, who frequently targets Omar in speeches, took aim at her once again just hours before.
We're letting some great people come in. They have to show that they can love our country. They have to be proud. Not like Ilhan Omar.
Overnight, the president telling ABC News without evidence that Omar, quote, probably had herself sprayed, knowing her. The chaos leading Democrats to call for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign. Now, even some Republicans are joining them.
Senator, do you have confidence in Secretary Noem?
None at all. No, she's. I've tried to maintain confidence.
The president insists Noem's job is safe. Preddy was the second U.S. citizen killed by federal agents in the Twin Cities in 3 weeks during a White House-directed immigration crackdown.
And with just 2 days before a government funding package needs to be passed, there appears to be no compromise in sight. After the latest fatal shooting in Minnesota, Democrats now demanding that the DHS funding bill be stripped from the larger package while they negotiate some reforms for ICE. But Republican leadership so far not willing to do that, which means much of the government is set to shut down on Saturday. Melanie Zanona, NBC News, Washington.
Still to come, a new way to attack the mountain, the event you've never seen before at the upcoming Winter Olympics.
Our high today only 25 degrees, should be 45. Our low is 16, 13 below the record low back in 1987. Congratulations to Dave Elwell on winning a brand new umbrella. He's from Laurel. He's got a new umbrella from Paul Davis and CoastTV. More on the cold and that snow potential this weekend coming up a little bit later on.
But first, the polar bear plunge postponed for now. When it will happen again, up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
The polar bear plunge in Rehoboth, which benefits Special Olympics, it's been postponed. The nonprofit says with severe weather conditions on the way, they're going to now have the plunge February 27th to March 1st instead of this weekend. Speaking of this weekend, Coast TV's Bob Trihey is in our First Alert Weather Center with your full forecast and, yes, the possibility of more snow after this.
This evening, as you look outside, it definitely has that look of winter. We've got all the snow and ice on the ground and an overcast sky that could give us a few flurries this evening. And look at these high temperatures. Amazing. About 20 degrees below average. 25 the high in Georgetown, 28 Ocean City, and 28 in Salisbury. We're looking at the Boardwalk Plaza cam right now. Some of this is not sand. Some of this is snow and ice. And in the days ahead, bitter and frigid. We're looking at sub-zero morning wind chills and maybe some record cold possible too. And then snow question mark for the weekend. In fact, I think there's a better chance of it snowing than not with coastal impacts and wind and beach erosion with some of that snow too. We'll take a look at that coming up. But first, the cold weather advisory that's in place now until 10 a.m. tomorrow. Sussex County, Eastern Shore, back through Salisbury, Snow Hill, and Golf Club shores. We're looking at wind chill values down in the single digits. And these are feels like temperatures Thursday into the weekend and into Monday as well, feeling like sub-zero. So that puts us in the moderate to high range of seeing frostbite. You really have to be careful out there. Avoid prolonged exposure to the cold. Dress in multiple layers. Know the signs of hypothermia. Make sure you safely heat your home. Never use an oven. Drink warm beverages. And make sure you protect your four-legged friends as well, because look how cold it is. It feels like teens right now, but it's actually around 22 to 26 degrees. We have a west-northwest breeze, pretty light, and those feels like temperatures are in the teens and 20s right now. We have some cloud cover coming through. A little disturbance could give us a few flurries for this evening. Not a big deal. The big deal is the cold air pouring in behind this system, even colder, maybe even dangerous cold as we head towards the end of the week. So we have the cloud cover this evening, maybe a flurry or two between now and 10 p.m., otherwise clearing out. Very cold by Thursday morning into the, say, 12 to 13 degree range. Very cold. And then as we go into tomorrow afternoon, still very cold. Look at this, barely in the low 20s for highs. And then very cold heading into your Friday morning, single digits. And then barely getting out of the teens Friday afternoon with some cloud cover. And feels like temperatures as we go into Thursday morning, below zero, about 4 to 8 below. During the daytime hours, feeling like single digits, then below zero again. Friday Friday morning. And yeah, you get the picture. Very cold. Saturday morning feeling like below zero. Here's a big story into the weekend. We're watching a low pressure. The big story is, how will it track? Will it track north and give us more snow closer to the coast, or track out to sea, and that would bring lighter snow? What we do know is that it'll be snow, and I think we'll be seeing beach erosion and tidal flooding as well. The European model has a close shave here. It has snow building into Delmarva through Saturday night into Sunday morning. This could be a very sharp cutoff to the heavy snow, so the coast could get accumulating snow with lighter amounts inland. We'll definitely be watching that. 9 tonight and very cold with 23 tomorrow. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Bitter cold into the weekend with a yellow alert later Saturday into Sunday for accumulating snow. We're watching that. And then for Groundhog Day, 32, and then a little warmer after that into next week.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network, your game of the night at 6 p.m. Salisbury School at ESH Mavericks. That's boys basketball. Then catch the final score at 10:30.
We know growth on the coast is a big issue. There's a lot of growing pains. Everybody wants to live here, but we have issues with our roads, infrastructure, and open space. There's been a lot of conflict and a lot of concern.
CoastTV News has investigated all the deep-seated issues that brought us to where we are today. On February 4th at 7 p.m., join us for a 1-hour special to help you understand the price of paradise, growth on the coast.
We salute Jason Karras. From 1995 Junior Firefighter of the Year to a retired Air Force Senior Master Sergeant, Jason is the definition of a hero. While deploying multiple times to defend our country, he remained a devoted pillar of his community. Today, Jason serves as a vital firefighter and EMT for both the Harrington and Felton fire departments. With 30 years of unwavering service in the skies and on the streets, Jason has spent his entire life answering the call to protect others.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
The Ocean Pines Association Board unanimously approved a construction contract for a new fire station. Construction is expected to take about 60 weeks once crews break ground, possibly as early as next month. The more than $6 million project replaces the current station built in 1981, which firefighters say is out of code, overcrowded, and no longer meets department needs.
The Milan Cortina Winter Olympics will debut a new sport next month, ski mountaineering. Follow me on this. It combines uphill sprinting on boots and skis and then downhill skiing. Although the sport is kind of new on the global stage, it does root back to the 19th century. Backcountry winter sports have grown in popularity, especially after the pandemic. Yeah, there they are, getting them running uphill.
Run.
Something to know about ski-mo, as it's called. It's fast. The sprint races are about 3 minutes.
So the ski-mo sprint race is 1 climb, 1 descent. You'll start off skinning up the mountain with your skis on, and then transition to boot packing. You put your skis on your back and you run up on your feet in a steep section. Put your skis back on, get to the top, transition your gear to downhill mode, and ski back down to the finish. And this all happens in 2.5 or 3 minutes.
I'm going to watch that. And I can only watch it right here on CoastTV. The Winter Olympics are the 6th through the 22nd. As we take a live look outside into Laurel, one more check on your forecast after this.
Coming up new on CoastTV News at 6. Health risks from the cold, temperatures, what doctors are telling and recommending to keep you safe.
Yeah, and if you are headed out this evening, really exercise caution. This cold is no joke. Make sure you bundle up and layer up as temperatures fall from the 20s into the teens. It feels like temperatures into the overnight, into the morning hours, at least single digits above zero. I think many places could be single digits below zero, and those actual temperatures into the upper single digits. Call the CoastTV First Alert weather phone. Your forecast just a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Bitterly cold, lower 20s Thursday into the weekend. A low of 8 Friday morning. Then we have hoist hoisted a yellow alert later Saturday into Sunday. I think we're looking at accumulating snow, I think, along the coast. We'll have a snow map tomorrow, lesser amounts inland. And then as we head into next week for the Groundhog Monday, 32, and then finally above the freezing mark after that, maybe another rain snow chance as we head into Thursday and temperatures in the upper 30s.
All right, Bob, thank you. And thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, for more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.